Hello again from Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. This is going to be a video that is actually a continuation of a previous video, and all of it has to do with when you're near job closing. The first video was about getting that closing deposit check or monies received, wired in, etc., and how to post that closing deposit on the deposits window. And if you go to deposits, you'll see that we have one video for video post monies received. We also have a help document about help docs, closing deposits, followed by closing the job journal entry tools. This video is going to be actually about closing the job on your books. First, you would have posted your job closing deposit to get your accounts cleared out, your loans paid off, this and that, so that you have a simple trial balance for the job that you're needing to close. And this type of video is generally about home builders that are using the completed contract method of accounting. In other words, they're keeping all their job costs in a work in progress account on their books that's an asset, and they're keeping all their monies received, like construction loans received, contract deposits, etc., as a liability. And then after you've closed the job, gone to a job closing, you receive a check, and then you end up with all your monies in something called contract deposits, which is still a construction liability until you post your job closing journal entry. And CHS has a tool to help you with that, and you'll find it over under the accounting section called job closing entries. And before we actually use this window, I just wanted to show you that I used help, and then I found job closing deposit and journal entry tools, and I clicked this link for a help document, and I have that. Once you do that, you'll have it open in a tab up here. So we're going to refer to this. We referred to the first several pages as we posted the monies received. Now we're ready to close the job on our books. You might, and it's going to create journal entries for you, but it's going to help you because CHS can conveniently comb through any entries that are posted to accounts like assets or liabilities on your balance sheet. Any entry, any balances for a particular job, it'll find those balances for you and assist you with just creating a journal entry for those balances to close them to sales and cost of sales. When I worked as a controller for a home builder, I had to just comb through stuff or make a jillion entries on my chart of accounts to be able to track job costs by job. Set up a bunch of accounts. In CHS, you don't have to because you're posting the job code in a separate field than you are the general ledger account number. So CHS can just comb through your database, find all the entries with that job code, and show you the balances for that job. So I've already talked about these things on these first pages of these help documents. All of this is where you're going through and you're taking care of posting. Let's get this a little bigger right now. Posting the deposit or the monies you received. And before we posted that deposit, we had a balance for construction loans payable, contract deposits, change order deposits, etc. But then we went through. I showed you how to post this closing deposit so that you're clearing out construction loans payable, zeroing it out because your closing deposit paid off that loan. And then after we posted that deposit, here is what I had you look at the trial balance now, and this was the sales price that the title company used at closing. And now all we have are direct construction costs, work in progress amount, and contract deposits. So we're ready now. Maybe it's more towards the end of the month. We posted that job closing deposit on February 15th, 2014. And maybe we wanted to wait for a few more job costs to come in, and we wanted to post that closing deposit first so that we had the job costs, indirect construction costs that related to the title policy and recording fees. etc. So now this is the resulting. We feel pretty okay that all of our job costs are in and have been posted, and of course this is the final lot monies that we received, and we want this to get to sales, and we want this to get to cost of sales on our income statement and no longer be in an asset and liability accounts on our balance sheet. So let's continue on going through this. Now this page starts telling you about posting a job closing journal entry. It tells you be sure you posted that closing deposit that I went over in the previous video. And then it tells you about to open the job closing journal entry, how to do that, the window for opening this window, and we will just jump over there to that window. We already opened it. Like I said, it was under job closing entries. And the first thing I'd like you to look at is this full trial balance as of your date. So we are going to use 282014. We're actually doing this in the year 2016, this video, but all of our data from this demo builder happened in 2013 and 14. And in our previous video, we had posted the deposit for DeGroot. So now if we click the button to review the full trial balance as of this date, we will see that same thing we were looking at in the help document that I used. So we're wanting to get this direct construction cost posted to cost of sales and our contract deposits to sales. In other words, that's basically sort of called closing the job, and CHS is going to help you do that, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Now notice over here we could do a check, and it's defaulted into today's date, the day I'm doing the video. And let me just take a look at that trial balance with job sums. It's a full trial balance for all the jobs, but I'd like to take a look at direct construction costs for that DeGroot 331559, and that I know actually is a little higher because it's a later date. See how this is 331156, not 559, and I'm going to show you how you can see what that difference is here. So let's continue to the job closing window. It's alerting me about that old date since I'm really in 2016. And what I'd like you to notice here is this is as of 02/28/14 at midnight. And I want to see what entries were posted after that date. And you should just always check this, even if you haven't noticed that it's different. But you can see that in August of 2014, since we're way into 2016, past the fact, but maybe you posted some little March date, but you're doing this closing entry February 28th, but maybe you posted some little bill in March. You might want to get that changed to a GL account instead of 1430 direct construction costs. You might look at these, print this report, and decide, I'm going to go get that GL changed to cost of sales, because I know the balance as of 2/28/2014 is going to be moved to cost of sales. And CHS will warn you as you're posting an accounts payable entry. If CHS has created this closing journal entry for you, it'll say it's found one of those, and maybe you should post any more job costs to cost of sales and not to your work in progress account. But this was posted to that, and we think we'd like to take care of it and not overlook it. So we can see that the vendor is PDA, and this was posted in accounts payable. So we might decide we just want to jump over and take care of that. We'll get back to that window in a minute. So let's go to the vendor ledgers, where you can take care of changing a GL account. And we know that was in August because we saw it. I don't remember what date, so I'll ask for the whole month, and then that vendor PDA. And I want to open the vendor transactions just for that, so that I can get the window that will allow me to edit that. And it does only find one for PDA in that month, so I can use this little pencil edit icon to edit that. and look right down here where the GL account is this direct construction costs. I know it's a 3,000 account for cost of sales, so I typed a 3, and I know I'm going to be moving all the costs as of February 28th, 2014 into 3,600, so I'd like any entries after that that relate to job costs for that job to be, actually we can see that this is warranty, and I think he has a warranty expense. But we don't want those to be showing up in our work in progress anymore. So I'm going to change that to warranty expense on my GL. So if I submit that, it's changed it, and you can see the GL is 3,700. So let's close that vendor transactions, and let's go ahead and open this closing window again, which is the next step that you're going to do for getting this job closed. Now notice if I view entries in this 1430 account after the February 28th date, there are no records in that report because that one record I changed. So I feel like no more entries, even though maybe I'm doing this sometime in March but dating it February 28th. I can feel like no more entries were found. I could check this one too to make sure nothing else has been posted to contract deposits after this date, or construction loans payable after this date, or change order deposits after this date. So I'm pretty sure these are my balances as of February 28th. So I'm going to click this button for direct construction costs to create a journal entry, to close it to cost of sales. And it shows me the balance. It says move balance from this account into this income statement account. And I want this to go to cost of sales for single family homes. So I just select that. I click create journal entry. It asks me if it's okay to post it. I say okay. And it says it's been posted. Now notice that I no longer have a balance for this job in 1430. And I still have a balance in contract deposits that I want to have go to sales and move off my liabilities. So, and it's a credit balance. That's how sales and income is a credit balance, which is a minus thing, which always seems sort of funny, but that's how it is for accounting. So I'm selecting sales, and I'm saying create journal entry. It's created it. It's going to close that window. And notice that now all of these are zero my balance sheet, and it tells you about how these are balance sheet accounts, assets and liabilities, and showing the balance for that job as of that date in those accounts. Now we know that balance is zero. So let's close this. The next window that opens when you close that is asking if you want to update the job status to closed. And where you'll be able to see this after you do it is on the jobs list or on the job setup window. And I'll go ahead and click the button to mark it as closed on this date on my books. And if I jump over here to jobs list, you're going to see that maybe before it had a status of sold, now it has a status of closed, and the close date. And if you edit this to look at the job setup window, you will see that it says the job closing has been posted. It did update it for that, a closed date, changed the job status to closed. So that's what happens with that little window that opens, is just so it can get marked. We've finished with posting our journal entries. So what I'd like to do is jump over to the list of what is called journal entries. And these are just journal entries that are either created manually or to close a job that CHS creates, or to close your year-end stuff. What CHS does with that journal entry is it always says CLOSE space and a job code. If you're just wanting to find all closing journal entries for jobs, this said in the watermark that you can type partial. So if I just wanted to search for just ones that CHS created, helped you create, I could. Maybe you'll see other ones that say close some other job, close some other job. And you can do a report right here to see that entire journal entry. Here's where we have a debit to cost of sales for the amount that was in direct construction costs. We took it out of direct construction costs. And here's our credit to sales, and here's our debit to contract deposits to close them out. So you can see that you actually also can edit that batch. It's just created a journal entry for you, and if there's something you suddenly decide you better change about it, you can do that, and there will be an audit record created about how you changed it. Or if you just simply realize I did that too soon, I need to delete that batch, and you click an X here, you can delete that whole journal entry and then go use those job closing features again. Maybe you posted some additional costs. You can also allow CHS to create more than one of these closing entries for the job. Maybe you do post some job costs in March, and then you need to close it again. You got those, you landed those all in work in progress again when you posted them. And I do have some information about how at the end of each month you should go look at the trial balance that is by GL number and then by job, and see if there's any jobs lurking in that work in progress account, any balances for that job in that work in progress account for a job that's already closed. And so you might want to do a second closing journal entry and use those tools that I just showed you for job closing. Let's jump over real fast and let's take a look at the trial balance for that job now that we've posted that closing entry. So let's do this first drop down to expand this. Let's ask for this job and let's do a trial balance for the job. And you'll see that now what we have in here is the sales, the cost of sales, and that warranty expense, and the net is the cash contributed by that job. So you can see that we have gone through, done our closing entries, and closed the job. I'd like you to look on the last page. Let me just go through these pages real quick. We posted those entries, posted those entries, posted those entries. We saw how they all went to 0. We updated our job status. We reviewed the job closing journal entry. We looked at the report. We talked about that, and we reviewed the resulting trial balance. When I did this help document, I didn't take care of the warranty expense yet. So, and this trial balance is only through February 28th, so it won't show that warranty expense that was in August. And the other thing we needed to look at is you also can, back over here under the financials, collapse this, and you could get a quick income statement for that job. If you had tried this before closing the job, there probably wouldn't have been much of anything on it. But it wants me to know. It wants to know. So let's just do. We know that we want to see that for that job. We could do a real wide range of dates for that to see, to make sure we didn't leave any out. But notice how the income statement will show nicely the sales, less any cost of sales, less later warranty expenses for that job, and show you the net that we've made on that job. Sometimes you may want to just look at these dates up here, which is your earliest date in your accounting database and your latest, and maybe just use those here so that you make sure you capture everything on that income statement. The last thing I want you to look at, and I won't be demonstrating that will be in videos about percentage of completion, but if you are using percentage of completion each month to move what you've earned into sales and what you've spent into cost of sales each month, so that you can do what a lot of consultants advise and see how much you have that be on your income statement every single month. Then when you do your job closing, you will see when you bring it up to create these journal entries that you will have some contra accounts. And like I said, watch the percentage of completion tutorials, look at them, because what you're doing is each month you're recognizing some cost of sales. So on your balance sheet we have what's called contra accounts to show how much you recognize so far. So when you do that job closing journal entry, you will close both of these accounts. See, and the net of them would really just be the amount for that month affecting cost of sales. You would close both of these to cost of sales, and you would close this to sales. You would probably, since you post your closing deposit, just have contract deposits just like on that other job and not these two entries. But this is just an example here to show you how you might have these two types of accounts. This one would probably be closed to sales, and this one would be closed to sales, and a contract balance amount would be closed to sales. Anyway, I hope that helps, that CHS gathers all those totals for you and helps you get that job closed off of your balance sheet and onto your income statement once the job is done. Thank you for watching.